Good morning. This is the Ramblings of an Undisciplined Mind podcast for Wednesday, November 9th, 2016. Well, the election is over and Trump won, as you doubtless know by the time you get around to listening to this, since I'm not going to get this thing posted until about 7 hours or 12 hours from now. You know, I feel like I'm not going to talk a lot about this today. I have something else I want to talk about, but I just wanted to say one thing briefly. I'll throw this out there for posterity and we'll see what happens. But I feel like the primary reason that Hillary lost, that I think historians will probably cite later on when they're analyzing this election, is the lesson of the primaries. And the lesson of the primaries for both parties was that the established way of doing politics in Washington is not working for the majority or for a large group of Americans. That they wanted something different. That's why Bernie was so popular. That's why Trump was so popular. The lure of the outsider. And Hillary, that I saw, really didn't try to address that. I mean, she was old school Democrat, and she's doing the normal talking points, and she's doing, you know, what the normal, tried and true, established Democratic line has been, and she hadn't been doing anything that I saw to reach out to these people. I mean, even Michigan. Last I saw, 98% of precincts had reported from Michigan, and Trump was leading and expected to win it. I mean, even this state went Republican, and that's pretty rare. Which means that one of the big counties, I'm thinking, I looked briefly at the county map, but I didn't really, I don't really remember which ones were Democrat. I'm thinking maybe Wayne County shifted to Republican, which is huge, if I'm remembering the map correctly. So I kind of think that's the story of this, you know, the people are trying to tell everybody that the status is not quo, to quote Dr. Horrible. And I think Hillary ignored that. But what I really wanted to talk about was some recent Minecraft adventures I've had. So if you don't care about Minecraft, sign off now. But if you want to hear about it, I had some fun. I was playing over the weekend, and apparently my tablet was, I got this tablet that's kind of slow, and it usually does pretty well on playing Minecraft. But usually what I'll do is I will shut down any other apps. And I think maybe this is where I went awry. I still have my Kindle app running. So I got into Minecraft, and I'm working on my farm. And I've got bits of it that I want to build an automatic mechanism to do harvesting, like for sugarcane. And I need a particular kind of block called an observer block that will notice when it's grown to a certain height, and that can trigger the observer mechanism. And to make this observer block, I need quartz. And I also need iron. And I had no quartz, and I was low on iron. So I went to my mine. Now, I have an established mine. I haven't posted pictures of it on the blog. But if you go to the Ramblings, undisciplinedmind.blogspot.com, where I've got some pictures of this world, the Gizmo's Treehouse world, I've not put some pictures because it's not very photogenic. It's a mine. But I kind of went off. I went down to diamond level. There's a certain level where diamonds live, or spawn, I should say. And I picked a particular spot, and I went going in that one direction for quite a ways. And I really hoped, my goal was to get a stack of iron ore, and that would be 64 pieces of iron ore. And so I was mining really good, and I had accumulated about half a stack, so I was feeling pretty good about it. And then I got up to do something, I forget what, and most times what I will do is I will save and quit the world. And I didn't do that. I just, hit the screen off button on the tablet, and I went and did whatever. And I came back, And when I got back into Minecraft, I was suffocating. You can have happen where if you, through a series of circumstances, find yourself inside a solid block, you can suffocate, and your health, is steadily going down. And so I managed to kind of break the block I was standing in with my pickaxe, and through the physics of Minecraft, then I could breathe. I was still surrounded by stone in all 4 directions. But now I could breathe. So I thought that I remember when I shut the game down, I was kind of facing in the direction I was mining. So I put a torch there as okay, I was facing this way, and I turned around and I started mining in a direction that way because I wanted to get back to the rest of my mine. Because I had found a nice amount of ore, and I think I had some gold and some other things, and I didn't really want to lose that. I didn't have a lot of stuff with me. I had a limited amount of wood, and some things I need to be able to make wood, like torches, if I had to make more torches. So I was a little concerned that, and I had some food with me, so I was okay on that, but I was kind of like, should I at some point just kind of let myself die and then tunnel back from my main mine? But I went down the direction where I thought would be back, and I went quite a ways, and I'm mining the whole way through the stone, and I come upon a cave, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting, and I block off the end so no monsters will come in. I go, okay, so that obviously wasn't the way. And then I tried going left and right directions, and okay, those aren't the way, because I end up with a cave on each end. So I've got like 3 new caves to explore now. And I'm finding stuff as I go. I'm finding some stuff as I go. And so then I'm like, well, the one nice thing about Minecraft is it's everything's square. So basically you've got 4 cardinal directions. And so having eliminated 3 of them, it could only be the direction I was facing when I started the game. So I started mining in that direction, and I'm mining, and I find more materials, and finally I do break in to the part of my mine that I'd done before. So I was no longer lost. So that was cool. And then I went back and got some, there were like some ores that were like in walls, and I was getting a little concerned that my pickaxe was getting close to breaking, and I was a little concerned that if it broke totally, I wouldn't have a way to get out. So I was kind of left to go back to, and I went and I grabbed all that, and then I looked to see what I had, and I had a stack and a half of iron. I was like, well, that was nice. As we will see, that was a short-lived advantage. So I returned up to my upper world, and you got to do this operation called smelting, and I've got an automated smelter set up. So I set that all in there and got it smelting. So the next thing I needed was quartz, and for that I have to go to this place called the Nether, which is kind of like Minecraft's version of hell. You have to build a portal. There's a particular, you got to make it out of obsidian. And you make this portal, and then you use an igniter to ignite it, and that it's kind of like a Stargate almost. It looks different, it sounds different, but just so you get the idea of a portal, it's kind of like that. If you can imagine it big and rectangle. And so I'd been able to get some obsidian earlier because I knew I needed to get to the Nether at some point. And so I built the portal, and I used the igniter to ignite it, and then I went and got rid of everything I didn't need out of my inventory, on the odd chance I would die in the Nether, because there are hostile mobs there. And so what I'm hoping is I can jump through. There's some of this, they call it nether quartz, and when you mine it, it becomes quartz, that I can mine some nether quartz. I want to mine a little bit of nether, and then I really want to just come back. There's not a ton I want to do there. There's lots more you can do there, but for this trip, the main point was like grab some quartz and get back. That was the point. So I get over to the Nether, and thankfully it was a little laggy. It took a little bit for it to like draw everything, which should have been number one problem. And I'm trying to mine, there is some nether quartz close, and I'm trying to mine it, and all of a sudden I'm on fire. And that's because there is this big flying creature called a ghast that shoots fireballs at you. So I shoot some arrows at it, and I think I managed to hit it once maybe. And then I found some more nether quartz where I could mine it, and I was kind of going down this hole so it couldn't get me. So I mined this little section of quartz. I got about 16 pieces. Okay, that's enough for what I want to do. I don't need to make that many of these observers. So 16 ought to be enough to get me going. And so I start heading back to the portal, and now I've got 2 ghasts attacking me. And for some reason I felt that, I should, I got the bow and arrow, I have the technology, I have the skills, I can kill these things. And I'm standing kind of near the portal, which is mistake number 1. Mistake number 2, I'm trying to kill them. I'm trying to shoot them with my bow. And I do not succeed really in hitting either one of them. And so finally I just said, okay, this is stupid. But they've been shooting at me, and I've been dodging them, dodging their attacks at me. And I'm like, okay, well, they've kind of backed off a little bit. I'm like, all right, well, let's go back. Let's take myself back and be done with this little nether adventure. And I turn back to my portal, and the frame is there, but the portal itself is kind of purplish. That's gone. And I was aware that sometimes if there's an explosion right nearby another portal, that will cause the portal itself to kind of wink out, and you need a flint and steel to ignite it, like you would ignite a fire, but you were really kind of igniting the portal. That was one of the things I thought I didn't need the nether. It was back in the real world. So I'm like, well, crap, I'm screwed. I'm stuck here. And so I'm thought, well, let's look around. There was another element I wanted to get. I wanted to get some glowstone. I thought, well, maybe I can find some glowstone, and then if I can die near the portal, maybe I can just whip out and get it all or whatever, and I'll make myself die or something. So I'm like looking around a little bit, trying to find some of this. And there's this mob called a magma cube. And it was my first, and they just jump on you. And I was having a hard time fighting it because he was on top of me most of the time. And very quickly I was dead. And when you die, you go back to where you last slept. So I appeared back in the treehouse. So I'm like, all right. So I go and I make a new set of iron armor, a new set of iron tools. So this is probably like 25 or so pieces of iron-ish, thereabouts. I'm thinking, I'm just going to try to go back through the nether portal, grab my crap, and get out. And so I go through the nether portal, and once again it's being laggy, and the problem is in one direction I had a lot of space, another direction I had about 6 blocks of walking space, and then a big drop off. So I was a little leery about doing a lot of walking. So I'm trying to wait for stuff to, and apparently those 2 ghasts are still around, because I hear kaboom, kaboom, and then I'm dead. So I'm back in the treehouse. I make another set of armor. I make another set of tools. And I did have the sense at that point to say, okay, I'm done with the nether for today. And I've just been working on the farm. At some point, I will, when I get more diamonds, the funny thing is, even though I spent all that time and did all that mining and got just a hell of a lot of resources on my mining jog earlier, I did not find one diamond. I found a lot of lapis, I found some gold, I found a lot of redstone, not one diamond. So I think once I get to the point where I've got enough diamonds, I can make myself a set of diamond armor, I will venture forth again, and probably a diamond sword, because those cut better. I will probably then, at that point, attempt to venture forth back into the nether, but I don't know. It was, that was a bit intense, and so I'm just going to live with having to push a button for the time being. So that's really what I wanted to talk about for today. I will be back tomorrow, and I'll be talking to you then. So, be seeing you.